What's good, everybody? RJ Sheldon here, back with another episode of Off the Top Show. As you see here, this is the BD Boys section. Got my good brother James Muenchow, aka Jimmer, aka Jim Bob Cooter. What's going on, man?
Brother, the sun is shining. We have finally hit an era where it is over 70 degrees constantly. We got some beautiful Wisconsin weather, and today, for reasons you and I cannot talk about, it is a great day today. We are not allowed to say why it's such a great day today, but you and I know it's a fucking day to have a day, and today was a great day. But that's all we can say between you and I. Or just Yes, what a great podcast where the guys talk about things they only know about. Well, there might be a couple other listeners out there who know exactly what I'm talking about, but for now, it's a nice insider. You and I, it's a great day. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, man. Yeah, no, it is definitely an awesome day today. Oh, man. We got to kind of clear the air here with these people going nuts about the Packers and stuff, of not thinking that we're going to be a team and we're not going to be this and that. As we all know, that Jair Alexander had got released. We've seen this coming, as we've talked about this on this podcast multiple times, that could be a possibility. We weren't shocked. We weren't surprised. We would have been more surprised if he would have been on the team than him not being on the team. And it would have worked out realistically in good ways and bad ways. You know, we didn't know if he's going to be able to hold up if he still was with the Packers. It'd have been great if he was with us, but he's not. That's just what it is. That is the business of the business. You know, we did it the right way. We let him go ahead and seek other teams. We didn't do him dirty in regards like, hey, we are, not going to go ahead and bring you on for a crazy amount of money. We're not going to do this, do that. We're going to do this kind of just the right way. And that's how the Packers did it. So you can't go ahead and sit here in places that I've seen on Twitter that's just been going crazy saying that this is the end of our quarterback room, which is completely false. I mean, we want to have Nate Hobbs. We got Keyshawn Nixon. We got Butler. We got guys. We got King. We have Valentine. Like, we need to kind of pump the brakes here a little bit. We need to go ahead and we need to realize that we have guys that can replace Jair Alexander. And last year we didn't even have Jair Alexander when we were facing the Eagles, when we were facing other teams, because he was hurt majority of the time. So we need to go ahead and put that in the key factor. I've said my piece. You go ahead and talk to me a little about this, because this is just kind of, it makes me question a lot of guys that I see on sports pages when it comes to the Packers. But like, everybody needs to chill out.
Sky is falling. Didn't you see it? Oh my God! Goody is unserious about winning the Super Bowl. This is the dumbest thing ever. Packers fan, but oh my God! All right, listen here, people. Jair Alexander played 14 games in the past 2 seasons. Let me say that again. Jair Alexander played 14 games in the last 2 seasons out of the possible 34. Y'all are so mad that we're going to try to keep a guy who plays less than 50% of the games, while also, by the way, paying him $17.5 million. Actually, it might even be more. I think it's about $24 million. I think he got a little bit of a bonus that we had to eat in the beginning of the year while we were trying to trade him. And then after the cut, if we cut him here, we save $17.5. So you want to pay $24 million to a guy who plays 7 games. And then everyone, my God, we have the worst cornerback room in the league. I don't know. We're not going to be covering anybody. Now, valid points for people who are smart and intelligent go, I don't know about this cornerback room because, one, they're thin. You're exactly right. They are thin. They have 3 corners. You have an unproven Kalen King who's also hurt right now. You have the front office switching Bo Melton from wide receiver to corner today, which was extremely interesting. And that's really about it. So you're sitting there going, you don't have that many people. Okay, you're fair. You're right. I agree with that. And then you go, our pass rush is lackadaisical and very lackluster. How are these guys going to corner or cover if our pass rush can't get home? I'm agreeing. Like, you're not wrong. Like, we did have those issues with Jair Alexander. But to say that they're unserious and Goody's a joke, he needs to be on the hot seat, these guys aren't serious about winning a Super Bowl, that is the absolute dumbest take ever. If you're saying that, you ain't a fan. I'll call you out right now. If you want to come at me, go for it. You know my Twitter handle. That is just very, very unintelligent. The Packers, Carrington Valentine can play. We've seen it time and time again. Keyshawn Nixon, when he's outside, finally, he will be outside, can play. Now, everyone's saying that Nate Hobbs is a bad signing. I mean, we were all excited. Everybody was all excited about it. And then when the Jair news hits, now all of a sudden, no one's excited about Nate Hobbs anymore. Right? What, really? Like, they're calling him a special teamer and a third string quarter. Bro, y'all need to go watch some film. Like, Nate Hobbs is now, is he a Jair Alexander? No. Is he a cornerback one? Probably not. But the group of Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, and Nate Hobbs is a very, very serviceable cornerback room, but it is thin. I understand that. I don't disagree. So everyone needs to chill out. We haven't even played a snap. This is the first day of mandatory minicamp. Boys aren't even in pads. They have helmets on. Let's just relax. It's year 2 of a Jeff Hafley defense, which was very good last year, except the pass rush. Guess what they did? They changed some things coaching-wise to see if it's a personnel issue or if it's a coaching issue. And the guy they brought in, I think, with the last name of Covington, is a very high-profile coach. He was the defense coordinator for the Patriots, and we'll let the guy cook. So we'll find out if it's a personnel issue, and if it's a personnel issue, look at the wide receiver room last year. What happened when that was lackluster and that didn't pan out? What did Goody do in this draft? He went out and got people. Guess what's going to happen if that happens again on the defensive line? Guess what he's going to do? He's going to go out and get people. It's called evaluating the talent you have in your own house. So, and then it's just absolutely, I was so ripping my hair out listening to these takes, and people just love overreacting on Twitter. So Jair Alexander, here's the deal. Great player, absolutely. Right. I'm not trying to discredit Jair Alexander. Was he a very personable, could the Packers, a lot of people questioning, could the Packers handle the personality of Jair Alexander? You kind of did when he decided to walk out on Christmas Eve to make himself a captain in Charlotte against the Panthers, and then the next day next week when you needed a win at Minnesota against Justin Jefferson against the Minnesota Vikings, what did Matt LaFleur do? You're sitting. We don't need you. We'll win without you. If you're going to pull that crap, you're going to sit for a week. And guess what? He had a reality check. He came back. And then we're not getting straight answers of what happened last year with the knee injury. He went down with the knee injury. He sat out for 4 weeks. He came back and he practiced basically almost every day. After 4 weeks of sitting out, he practiced and practiced and practiced, didn't play, and then he went to Chicago. He played 10 snaps, and it looked like he's like, no, that still doesn't feel good. Okay, fine. And then he continued to practice. And then at the end of the year, after the Philadelphia Eagle game, when everybody's open for the media, cleaning out the lockers, he goes, I'm not doing media today. I got nothing good to say. So for the people who are saying, did the Packers drop this? Hell no, they didn't drop it. The guy didn't want to be there. It was abundantly clear. Now, Matt LaFleur and Gutekunst have to say what they say when people are like, how's the Jair situation going? It's fine. We're having great conversations. We don't know what those great conversations mean. It could mean that everyone's just being transparent. Hey, I want out. Yep, we'll try to help you get out. And that's what Green Bay did. They called probably 30. Guess what? Nobody wanted to take on $17.5 million. I wonder why, because a guy can't even, since 2022, he was his last full season. He played 16 games. Before that, 2021, 4 games. 2023, 7. 2024, 7 again. In which one of those games he played 10 snaps. So let's just call it 6. You really want to pay the guy that much to not be on the field? Let's call a spade, and that's what Brian Gutekunst did today in his press conference. He said he couldn't justify paying a guy that much money to not play. And guess what? You look at the Green Bay Packers contract situation for next year, you need that $17.5 million. So moving on from this, it was a move of they've cut guys like Charles Woodson in the past. They've cut guys like Jordy Nelson in the past. They've cut guys like Randall Cobb in the past. Well, they didn't cut Aaron Rodgers. They've cut people who everyone gets emotional about and absolutely head over heels. I understand Jair Alexander losing him hurts because you got a division with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, and I don't know about Roma Dunze, but it's year 2 with a new head coach who, by the way, had one of the best offenses in the NFL last year, and a promising young quarterback in Caleb Williams. Dude could be a star. Yes, you're losing that guy, but you didn't have him to begin with. Like, you had him for 7 games. So I'm just hoping, to everything I'm praying to, that he gets out of the division. Don't go to Minnesota. Don't go to Detroit. Don't go to Chicago.
He better not go to them goddamn teams.
So I don't know where he's going to go. If he stays in the NFC, fine. But just get out of the division, because I understand, like, people, he's going to be the most sought after free agent now.
Right.
But people are going to also question. Guess why Green Bay couldn't trade him? Because people were like, $17.5 million? He hasn't played that much in the past 2 years. Hello. And oh my goodness. So some people, like, y'all don't know ball on some of these takes. Green Bay did everything in their power trying to either lower his salary so that they could trade him or try to reconcile their relationship. Obviously, none of those worked. So to make all parties happy, sorry, bro, you're cut. You're done. So we tried everything. Good luck to you in the future. And I hope he does do well, unless he goes to the division. But some of these takes, oh my God, I was just like, no, put the phone down. You're going to rip your hair out.
Man,
God.
It was
absolutely crazy. So what does this mean going forward for the Green Bay Packers? Yes, $17.5 million get freed up. Now they have the 3rd most cap space in the NFL. And what are they going to do with it? Everyone's talking about TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson. Everyone's making all these wish lists. Guess what? It ain't happening.
Not one bit.
Nope, it ain't. It ain't happening. And why is that? And I know it's gonna seem silly that I'm already talking about next year. With this cut, like with Jair's contracts now off the books, Green Bay next year for this salary cap is still $10 million over the cap. So what are they going to do? Well, they could $10 million in the NFL is easy to move. Like, you move some stuff around with contracts and everything. It's easy to clear that. But you still want some money to maybe go in. You need money to sign your 1st and 2nd round picks, all the picks. You need money. So don't be surprised if more of these moves don't happen next year. But we're trying not to talk about next year because we haven't even started this year. But they have, if they're going to sign somebody, it's going to be for a year. Because that's this year's money. You can spend this year's money all you want, because it'll come off the books next year and you'll be back to where you started. So who is available? What do you need? In my opinion, you need more pass rushing. And who's still out there for pass rushing? Let's take a look. I'm trying to pull it up here. Hopefully these websites got these.
But that little break there, if you're looking, I mean, if now that it looks like with Hendrickson, he is, to me, I feel is a possibility, but is he cool with like 1 year and then we renegotiate after that year? And I don't think he is, because he's already proven himself. He already had multiple years where he's had double digit in sacks. Like, he wants money. So like, that's just, we don't know.
If he was okay with 1 year, he'd stay with the Bengals, and that we wouldn't be hearing the talk of how he's so pissed off, because he's on a tag right now. Or I don't even think he's on a tag right now. I think he's entering he's going to get $22 million this year, but he wants longevity just like anybody. So I'm looking at some people left. For edge rusher, defensive end, it's really not that great if you're really looking at it. You got Javion Clowney.
Yeah.
Whatever. Everybody else, like, you may know, but they're old. And I don't think Green Bay's going to go for anything on that. I mean, they may bring guys in for tryouts. They may bring guys in for $5 million. Because Javion Clowney at age 31 last year got $10 million. How? No idea. But so then you go, okay, what about corner? You need corner. Okay, let's take a look at corner.
We lose Jimmer's video on this point. My apologies.
James Bradbury doesn't sound terrible. Won a Super Bowl. He might be looking for some big money. I want this one bad. And that it may happen too. Rasul Douglas. We all remember and love Sewell. He's still available. He still plays at a really good level. Think that would be a horrible idea. Asante Samuel Jr. is still out there. We've seen what he can do. He's serviceable. Eli Apple, he led the league in holding penalties, so maybe they don't look at that. But there's some guys out there where you can throw out one. You want to make some money, you come here. We're going to be a winning team. You know that. Prove it here, and then guess what? Then you go get your big money contract somewhere else. Or if it really works out, we'll sign you here. Who knows? So they have money to spend, but if they're going to spend it, it's going to be 1 year. Because, again, that's this year's money. It's not going to implicate next year. So we'll see what happens. Fresh, it just happened today. Let's give it mini camp. They're going to probably try to get through camp. And then by the time training camp starts, that's when you'll probably see the new guys. Between mini camp and training camp, that's when you're going to see somebody come in. So we'll see. There are people to be had in the secondary. So I expect them to maybe sign a depth secondary position just to give it more. But other than that, pass rusher, there's hardly anybody. And if you want to go splurge on Javion Clowney, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Maybe Javion Clowney having lesser snaps and not being an every down snap type of guy will help. But you could probably use some help on that defensive line now that you don't have John Money holding down one side of the field. But they got money to spend. It may happen that they sign a 1-year deal, but don't expect the household names of a TJ Watt or a Trey Henderson to be coming through. But y'all need to goddamn relax. You're pissing me off over here because y'all acting unintelligent and emotional. It's business. Get over it. Packers did fine without Jair Alexander. They're still going to do fine without him. Let's just relax. Let's play some snaps first. Let's see how that goes, huh? Because we haven't even played a snap. Let's chill out. Let's wait till football gets here. It's 86 days, I want to say, till we got our first NFL game. Let's enjoy. The sun is shining, guys. It's nice outside. We don't need to be angry. Let's just relax, and let's see how the Green Bay Packers move on from this going forward.
No, and I definitely right with you. We know Goots is doing what he needs to do for the best for the team.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly. I know emotions are high, and everyone is like, Jair was one of our guys, but you gotta look at numbers. You gotta look at the situation of the team. And this has helped. Even if you don't think it's helped us out tremendously, this helped us out tremendously.
Financially, this is going to help us out a lot. Yes, you're losing a special player. We absolutely can't deny that. We're not saying that he wasn't a special player, but the best ability in the NFL, and you've heard, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times on this damn podcast, no matter if we're talking football, basketball, baseball, hockey, golf, whatever you want. The best ability is availability. And guess what Jair's ability's weakness is? Availability. So we're not going to pay a fella $24 million to ride the pine with his gimpy knee. And it's just not happening. So business is business. Let's get through this mini camp, training camp, and then get through training camp and let the boys work. Let Jeff Hafley and his staff work. He proved that he improved this defense last year. Let's take another step. Nate Hobbs and Keyshawn Nixon playing outside, I think, will be tremendous. As in, he's not a very good slot corner. I did not like Keyshawn Nixon in the slot. Being outside of the ball, he has speed. I think he can play on the outside. And we know how Green Bay wants to play. 4 underneath, 3 over the top. And I think Keyshawn Nixon is a guy who is pretty good not getting beat over the top. So, again, let's relax. Let's chill out, people. Have a beer. Have a brat. And let's just regroup here. Let the storm calm down. And we'll get back into it in training camp. Let's see what happened. Mini camp, we're not even going to talk about mini camp. Why? Because a bunch of guys running around in shorts and jerseys. There's no pads. There's no hitting. It's just getting the rookies up to speed with the ones. If they're like Matthew Golden's probably going to get a lot of snaps with the ones. this is how the NFL works. That's all minicamp is. This is how the NFL works. This is how we work. Here's our offense. Here's how the meetings will go. Stuff like that. So we're not even going to talk about minicamp. Let's just hope everybody gets healthy. That's all I wish for in minicamp. Everybody just gets through healthy. That's it. Everybody healthy? Good. Next.
No, that is definitely the truth upon that. So hang on, people. We got a long season ahead of us. But let's go ahead and get to
our all summer. I'm gonna have to listen to y'all all summer about this shit.
Let's get over and change the topic a little bit. The Milwaukee Brewers, man. Last time we were talking about them, we're like, they need to figure it out. Like, listen, we're 35-32. I'm not with the numbers here, but we went on a pretty hot streak from the middle of May to about now. We are 35-32. We are third now in the NLC. Playing good baseball. Talk to me about this, Jimmer.
Shit. When you hear Red Sox, you think Red Sox, like David Ortiz,
right.
Dustin Pedroia, that type crew. It's not them anymore. They still got big money. They're still a very serviceable and competitive club, but it's not like you just walked in there and swept the guys that I just mentioned. But a sweep is a sweep in the MLB. You sweep a team, doesn't matter unless they're the Colorado Rockies or the Chicago White Sox. A sweep's a sweep. And then you waltzed into Philadelphia. Bryce Harper, I know, but missing one guy on that Phillies team, still a championship contending team without Bryce. Without Bryce Harper, they're still going to compete for a pennant. But with Bryce Harper, that makes them a World Series contender. But it's still a damn good team. Their pitching's really good. They have Kyle Schwarber, who just hits bombs. Alex Baum, who's a rising young kid who is a brick shit house. They have talent. And they walked into Philadelphia and put belts to asses. 6-2 the first night, which I was like, that's a really good win, And then next thing you know, I turn on the game 4 innings late, and the Brewers are up 12-0. I'm like, well, I don't even need to watch this anymore. Like, this party's over. And then they won. They had come back, win the next day. And then you went into Cincinnati. You dropped 1, which that was a really frustrating loss. But then you won 2 out of 3. Okay. Can't complain about a 2 out of 3 series win. You can complain about the 1 loss, but if you see 2 out of 3 series win, that's all you really need. If you won 2 out of 3 series in the MLB every single time, you'd be probably a 100-win team. I don't know the math on that. 160 divided by 3. I don't want it. I was told there'd be no math in this show, so I'm not going to do it. And then you just dropped 2 out of 3 to San Diego. San Diego is another team that's probably a pennant contending team. It's hard to say about that considering they share a division with the Dodgers, but they're always tough. And then last night you dropped to Atlanta, which Atlanta is not doing so hot this year, but they faced Chris Sale, the Chris Sale of 2018 when he was, or the Cy Young, but he's still Chris Sale. He knows how to pitch. You faced Aaron Savali, didn't have a good outing. You lost 7-1. So it's like, okay, you lost. Now you dropped 3 out of 4, and you're going, crap, here we go again. Exactly what we were talking about. You win 5, you lose 5. You win 4, you lose 3. That's why you're not getting caught up. And even in that 8-game stretch, still didn't make up any ground on the Cubs. And is that your fault? No, it's not. The Cubs are just good. They've revamped they've figured out their bullpen, which was their big weakness, is why they didn't win a lot of games last year. And they have one of the best offenses in baseball. You made it ground on the Cardinals. You're only a game and a half behind the Cardinals, and you're still 5.5 games out. So we were kind of sitting where we were, but that's not the Brewers' fault. That's just how good Chicago and St. Louis have been. So they keep on winning, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe you catch up on St. Louis, and maybe Chicago goes through a slump. But the exciting news is that, again, the Brewers are still getting healthy with their pitching staff. And then you get the really exciting news of this boy is Polish, so we're going to have to sound out his name. They are bringing up their top pitching prospect to start tomorrow, Jacob Misarowski, something like that. We're going to go with that.
Misarowski.
We'll go with that. Tops his fastball at 103. Let me say that again. He tops it at 103. He's in the top 30 of pitching prospects in the entire MLB minor league system. The dude is electric. He has a power slider. I think he has a changeup. We'll dive into him a little bit here. Again, not trying to go too much into it, but the kid is just, I've watched him pitch at the Timber Rattlers. It looks like 18-year-old pitching to 12-year-olds. Like, dude is just blowing by everything. He still has a 2.13 ERA, so that's kind of show in AAA. Struggles with his control. 6'7". Drink of water on that one. 97 in the third innings with 127 strikeouts. So he has a high strikeout, but again, with that big fastball at 199, along with how the game is played today, where everybody's trying to hit home runs, major league hitters square up his fastball. He will provide them enough energy where he's going to be a home run guy. If they score their runs, it's probably going to be off the long ball, which you take that because then he's going to strike out 9 or 10. So he has a 12% walk rate, which is not good, but a 31% strikeout rate. That means almost one out of every 3 batters strike out. So he's really impressive. We'll see how he handles the major leagues. He's only 23. So, but in a time where you need arms, maybe they bring him up like they did with Freddie Peralta all those years ago. It goes well, but then maybe they just send him back down. Just say, okay, you got your taste of the major leagues. Let's just bring it back down because you don't want him to get if he gets comfortable, he gets comfortable. But you don't want to speed him along too much because then if he starts having too many bad outings, then maybe the confidence gets shaky. So I think they'll bring him up for 1. If he does well, they'll keep him going. But when they get more healthy, maybe they'll send him back down. But if he just continues to deal, then they're going to obviously ride it out. So we'll get a look at him. He starts on Thursday, not Wednesday, but he'll start on Thursday against, please be a cupcake team. That would be really nice.
No, it's not no cupcake.
Lovely. Let's take a look. I just had it up because they're only playing the Braves for 3.
It's the Cardinals. So we're going to see what he's made out of right away.
Yep. Baptism by fire. But it's at home, and he's going up against Sonny Gray. That's going to be a duel, ladies and gentlemen. You thought some games are fast. If those two are both on their games, you're going to be in and out of the ballpark in 2 hours. So, again, Brewers are doing good. They just kicked off against Atlanta. Hopefully they can salvage the series, go 2 out of 3. And then comes that gauntlet we were talking about. 4 against St. Louis, 3 against Chicago. And then you go up to the Twins for the I-90 rivalry. And then you get a couple of cupcake-ish teams. You get Pittsburgh and Colorado, where you could win 5 out of 6, 6 out of 6. And then you go to New York for the Mets. And you got Miami, who's also really bad. And then you kind of finish with a little tough schedule. Home against the Dodgers, home against Washington Nationals. So their schedule is kind of favorable. If they keep playing ball like they were in Philadelphia and Cincinnati, you could be looking at getting closer to that top spot in the NL Central. But again, it's a long season. It's the long games. The Cubs could start spiraling down. The Brewers could start spiraling down. Anybody can get anybody at this point. You just need to keep winning series. So they're still getting healthy. Christian Yelich is playing a lot better. Jackson Cheerios still playing really well. Sal Frelick's still playing well. Bats are kind of coming alive, except for last night. They went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position and left 10 runners on. Can't be doing that. So, but we'll keep an eye on them. And again, 5-32. That is 67 games. They have 90-something games left, people. We still got a long way on this ride.
No, absolutely. It's always go Crew, man. We're always with them. They're always going to do something special when it goes ahead and get something going. I'm ready to see the young cat go ahead and go against the big boys. I can't wait to see that. I might have to go ahead and when we get done winning our
we're gonna have to tune in, bro.
We're gonna have to cut the Brewers on, please.
Yep, turn those Brewers on.
Cut them
7
on.
7:00. We'll be getting right in for them. So
Right. Moving on, man. I liked, one of the times that I guess go ahead and at you on Instagram. Went ahead and saw something pretty favorable that we talk about and harp on this show here, where the Badger football team needs to get back to their own roots. About 6 days ago, which is about this past Tuesday or Wednesday, we're not good with numbers here. They went ahead and had a video with their QB1, and he went ahead and designed up kind of what we wanted to go ahead and possibly see this year. And the thing that got me the most is when he says, you know Wisconsin football, and you kind of go back to the roots. And this man literally drew up, get the uglies in front, and we're just handing that ball off mano a mano. We're coming downhill, and we're doing this the old school way. I immediately, when I saw that, probably it was like later that night, I added you immediately. I'm like, if this happens,
it's me.
If it happens,
oh yeah,
it's gonna make the Badger football program what it used to be and what they need to be, because that's who they are.
Yeah, I mean, how many college football teams are built now for? Okay, it's going to be ground and pound, get ready, defensive line and front seven, buckle up your chin straps, and not even like they're going to run zone reads. They're going to run. No, we're going to run powers downhill type running plays. I don't think a lot of teams are built for it now, which can, on the road especially, if you can run the ball effectively on the road, that makes everything easier. Slinging the ball around can be great at times, but like if you just don't, again, Wisconsin doesn't have the athletes. We've said this plenty of times. Yes, they got a tight end from Missouri State, wide receiver from the defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes. It's going to be a new year. What makes all these transfer portal guys coming in who are not in the system that they were in, what makes it easier? Run the fucking football. Let the big uglies put their hand in the dirt, white knuckles, and just move boys around. 4 or 5 yards a carry, nothing fancy. Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg are not going to be there critiquing on how fancy it looks. It's going to be not for the faint of heart, and and you can wear down some defenses, lull them to sleep, and then next thing you know, you pop one over the top. We'll see what happens, but you need a quarterback. And again, the past 2 years, Luke Fickell did not have a good quarterback. He had Tyler Locke, who is brutal. And when your quarterback goes down with an ACL injury last year, who I think Wisconsin probably would have qualified for a bowl game with Tyler Van Dyke there, but it just didn't happen that way. The defense is going to be the defense. Your boy Mike Tressel is going to slap some boys around, and they got a couple guys coming in as well. He's a defensive guru. Like, the dude is intense, as you told me. The defense is going to be the defense. Like, Wisconsin has, for the past 10 years, has always had a really good defense. So you just needed to kind of clean out the garbage from the last regime of Badger football. Now you got a clean slate. This is year 3. This is where now it's like, if Luke Fickell doesn't have another good year again, he's going to find himself on the hot seat probably pretty quick. So you've tinkered with some things with the air raid offense. It didn't work. Now you're going to reverse the clock just a hair. Even though he doesn't go under center, it's still more ground and pound, which is what Wisconsin football is built on. So we'll see. I think they're definitely out of spring ball. I think their camp probably starts in July. I don't know. Speaking from college football experience, I wasn't there, but usually it seemed like middle of July is when everybody started coming back for camps. So, because then their season starts off really quick, and then college football will be back. So we'll look into this a little bit more, but it's good to see that their mindset has started going to let the big uglies work and let them push bodies around, wear down a defense. Let's keep it simple, stupid, and play Wisconsin Badger football like the old days, even though it's going to be a little bit more modernized. But it's good to see the mentality starting to change, and that he's using the tools that he has instead of trying to force players to do things that they're not comfortable with or that they're not built to do. So we'll see. But it's promising. I really liked it. That quarterback they got sounds very intelligent. So we'll see. We got a lot. Again, we just got to see how they look. We can't judge them based on talking. We got to put the lights on. They got to put the helmets and pads on, and then we can make make an assessment on them.
Yeah, no, it's always good when a Badger football team is good and competing at, the top tier when it comes in the Big Ten. So we shall see, man. It's getting closer and closer. Oh, man, it's just good to see Giannis Antetokounmpo continue to just do his thing and just letting people know that you know nothing about what he's going to do.
More of this. More of me ripping
just
my hair
more, I guess, bait for people to go ahead and see on a day-to-day basis to get their team's expectations up. But talk to me briefly, because we've already said our piece about it.
Like, I've been trying to tell y'all. Anybody who believed that he was going to leave is just silly. Like, we do this every summer. He ain't leaving anywhere. When you're talking about a guy who came from literally nothing, like, we've heard the stories of people coming from projects, low-income housing, stuff like that. Giannis did the same, and potentially even worse, coming from Greece. Loyalty is something big to him, as we've seen. And as he said, why would I leave the team that took a chance on me? Why would I leave the city that loves me and has taken me in and my family and has changed my life? Why would I leave that? That's his true colors. And again, anybody out there that isn't named Thanasis or Mariah Antetokounmpo that thinks they know where he's going or has an inside track, as Pat Beverly said, he's just trolling you, because that's the only people he talks to is Thanasis, maybe the younger one whose name I do not know, and probably his wife Mariah. So if you're not those three people, guess what? You don't know shit. So we can make assumptions here because he literally says it to everybody. I'm not leaving. I don't want to leave. I'm not asking to leave. Like, if I'm unhappy with the organization, I go and talk to them. So he keeps saying that, but yet national media keeps pushing it. So I'll just sit there and go, okay, y'all, are you guys just trying to find stuff to talk about? Like, you didn't have enough, so you just need a filler piece. And then time and time again, he comes out every summer saying, yeah, I'm not leaving. I haven't asked to leave. I love this city, blah, blah, blah. It's like a broken record. And people are like, oh, I guess he's not leaving. But guess what? In March, if they're not doing so hot, I'm going to leave. Oh, here we go again. All right. It's a big circle, and we've hit here where people start accepting, hey, Giannis is not leaving. And then we get to the start of the season, coming around, oh no, they lost the playoff series, and we're back to Giannis wants to leave. Inside source says that, not Thanasis or Mariah Antetokounmpo. So I told everybody he's staying. If people were worried that he was leaving, you shouldn't have been. He ain't leaving. You still got him for next year. You still got him for the year after that. And per a website I looked, I think he has a player option for $64 million after that too, which I take it. But, what do I know? So he ain't leaving. We'll dive into the Bucks a little bit more. Bobby Portis is going to be coming back. I saw somewhere that they're going to retain Kevin Porter Jr.
Yep, Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be with the Bucks next year.
I thought he had a player option, which he got to decide his future, which is shocking because he's only going to get paid $2.5 million. Either he didn't hear any rumblings from from NBA free agency that he was going to get more than that, or he still wants to prove because of his background of his run-ins with his domestic violence issues. I was shocked to see that Kevin Porter Jr. was probably coming back.
I wasn't, because he was playing well. Like, he seemed that his game, and I think Giannis would and this is the type of player Giannis is, everybody. He's going to let you know if he's fucking with your game. And I think Giannis loved playing with him. I think no both of them really played together. I thought the money of it, $2.5 million, he could breathe hard. Again, you and I breathe if we were NBA caliber players and we're making $5-10 million, it seems like. True.
So I thought he was going to decline that option and maybe test the waters elsewhere, maybe get $7 to $10 million. But apparently he's going to stay in Milwaukee. I mean, why wouldn't you want to play with Giannis? He's going to stay in Milwaukee. He knows he's going to get minutes. He could probably prove that he can go elsewhere. Maybe the Bucks re-sign him somewhere or another team. So, but I'm happy about that one. Bobby coming back. You're going to need Bobby, unfortunately. I mean, I've been a big Bobby Portis hater because with Damian Lillard out, now you don't have Brook Lopez. That announcement came out that Brook Lopez was finally not coming back. Thank God. You're going to need some bigger bodies, and Bobby Portis is one of those guys, even though his defense isn't that great. So we'll see what the Bucks can do this year with their free agents, with not a lot of cap space, but we'll see. John Horst has proven in the past, before 2 years ago, that he's been a pretty good mastermind and a pretty good somebody who can find some diamonds in the rough and get some good deals. But past 2 years, he seemed pretty not so good. So again, we'll see how it goes. Free agency for the NBA hasn't even opened up yet. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep track of that.
No, we definitely will. We got a long time before that even is a thought. So let's move on over to obviously the Jim Bob Cooter talk, man. We got PGA Tour. We have got the U.S. Open, man. This is going to be great golf Thursday through Sunday. And we've said on here these past 2 weeks since we've done this show, we're going to see who the mans are on those courses. We're going to see from the boys to men on who's going to go ahead and take care of this course, take care of their game. Because if you've been seeing some of these greens and regulations and rough, I mean, I would shoot a 200 on there. Talk to me about this, of what we're going to be looking to see.
I go through 2 dozen balls. If someone gets to 6 under in this tournament, they are on red hot fire. The rough is 5 inches long. Yes, there is videos of them mowing it, but they don't mow a lot off. It's not like mowing your typical lawn where you mow it down a couple inches. No, they're probably taking like an inch off, maybe a half an inch to probably get rid of that dead grass on the top. If there is any, that grass looks pristine. They're probably just getting it down low because practice rounds today, practice rounds probably yesterday, practice rounds tomorrow. So, and it's going to grow. It's grass. So you can't leave it at 5 inches, because by the end of the week, it's going to be 6 inches. Now they'll mow overnight and everything. So rough is 5 inches. Think of how long. If you look out at your grass and go, man, this is long, probably double it. That's how long the U.S. Open grass is. And then their fairways are narrow. They have lots of fairway bunkers, which make it even harder. And by the way, I have to try to dumb this down for some people. You and I know what a stimp meter is. A normal stimp for any golf course is about maybe an 8 to 9, and that's like average speed. The U.S. Open greens are reading at a 14.9. That is pool table top fast. And if you don't believe me, look up some videos. I've seen some videos of people putting 3 feet downhill. They probably hit it 2 to 3 feet, and it goes 35 feet. Like, that's how fast we're dealing with this U.S. Open. The U.S. Open is a absolute grinding, grueling, trying to break you down mentally type of tournament. And with 5-inch rough and 14.9 stimp greens, that's exactly what they're doing. So you go, who's going to win? You got to look at a lot of things. I've kind of got some stats up here. You're going to have to hit some green. You're going to have to hit some green and regs. You're going to have to be a good scrambler with this rough. You're going to have to be good around the greens, and you're going to have to be good at driving accuracy. If you can hit fairways, you might see a lot of guys pull out 3-wood, 5-wood, maybe some driving irons, something that is comfortable with them to get on the green as fast as possible, and maybe even 2-putt. Par is going to win you a lot of money on this course. So if you like big hitters and long hitters, this may not be the course for you. You're going to watch professional golfers who make millions of dollars doing this sport look average, like you and me out on an average-ass golf course struggling. It is going to make men and boys cry. So if you're not a man, you're probably going to start crying. The top 3 scramblers, 2 of the top 3 are Scotty Scheffler, Hideki Matsuyama. They have the best scrambling percentage, so look at that. Shocking that the number 1 player of the world is up there. Greens and reg, Sepp Straka and Patrick Cantlay. Scotty Scheffler is leading just a lot of, just so many freaking categories. So Scheffler is probably one of the best, is obviously the best player in the world right now, but the way he controls a course, it's hard just not to pick him. Justin Thomas is in the top 3 for birdie average, which is good. this might be a Justin Thomas type deal. Scotty Scheffler is number one off the tee for everything around the greens. I mean, you're going to have to be really good at short game. Like, this is playing for 4s and 5s in this tournament could win you a lot of money, and it might win you a US Open. Again, if there was a 6 under tournament, that would be amazing in my book. Like, if you're looking for the Bryson DeChambeau 380-yard drives, this might not be the course for you. But looking at some of these holes, they have 2 holes that are over 600 yards, which is absolutely crazy. And then you have a par 3 that is 300 yards. Let me say that again. They have a par 3 that is 300 yards. There is going to be players using drivers on par 3s, which you have never seen before. It's something that is going to be so exciting if you're the casual fan, I don't know if you'll like this. You'll be like, why these guys are just hitting birdies or hitting pars, bogeys? Like, this isn't that cool. We like birdies and eagles. If you're a golfer and you know golf, this is going to be a tournament where you're going to be like, wow, these guys are struggling, and it's great to see because it makes you feel a lot better about yourself. So who am I picking? You just can't pick against Scotty Scheffler. Like, you can't. He's becoming that guy. Like, when you couldn't pick against Tiger Woods back in the day, Scotty Scheffler is approaching that. He's good off the tee. He's good around the greens. His putting is getting better. His tee to green ratio, or his percentage, is the highest in some of the highest in golf history. So look for him to just manage this course. You're not going to beat it with length unless you're on fire. If somebody finds fire with the driving and can hit a lot of fairways with the driver and be long, it's going to help a lot and probably see them up on the leaderboard. But you got to find people that can control and scramble, and that's Scotty Scheffler's bread and butter. So I'm picking Scotty Scheffler. Wow, James, you're picking the number 1 player in the world. I just think he's just on a tear. It's hard not to. It's becoming Scotty or the field. And it's really hard to pick against Scotty when the field is so good. Like, you got a lot of good golfers out there. But I'm picking Scotty Scheffler, America's sweetheart, USA number 1, who just qualified for the Ryder Cup. He'll be there at Bethpage Black. But it's just going to be fun and entertaining watching these guys struggle. And I'm going to be here for it. I'm going to be here for it. I can't wait. It'll make them look human, where sometimes they just do things where you're like, they're not human. They're not human. So US Open, Scotty Scheffler. Other notables, I think Tommy Fleetwood will probably do top 10. Roy McIlroy, not very good last week. Not very good at all last week. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see this is where also you root for Americans. If you're in the Ryder Cup, you root for a household American name. Household. Tony Finau, Keegan Bradley, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Bryson DeChambeau. Yes, he's live. I understand it. Brooks Koepka. Root for the Americans because you want Americans to win the Ryder Cup. Everyone seems to like the underdog stories. I root against the underdog stories in majors because that's how you end up with these guys who will probably never, ever be there again on a Ryder Cup team, and that could potentially lose you a Ryder Cup. So the household name Americans, and then hopefully they can get better on the Ryder Cup. Again, Scotty Scheffler, I'm winning it. Tommy Fleetwood, top 10. I'm going to go Hideki Matsuyama, also a top 10. He's another good scrambler. And you know what? I'm putting JT in there. JT is going to go top 10. I have a feeling he's just been lurking in that 5-inch rough, just slithering around. And he's going to bust out, and I think he's going to get a top 10 finish.
No, I like that a lot, man. Well, you hear to hear. People, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you go ahead and watch that Golf for Short. It'll start Thursday through Sunday. We'll keep you tuned in with all Wisconsin sports. Jimmer, always a pleasure. Everyone else?
Yes, sir.
We'll see you later.
Happy Father's Day to all those dads out there, baby. Let's go.
Happy Father's Day. Peace out, everybody.